Megan Fox is a Hollywood mystery, a walking optical illusion who's been puzzling audiences since the Bush administration. She's like if a supermodel and a wax figure had a baby, and that baby decided to memorize lines instead of melting under a heat lamp. For almost 20 years, she's graced our screens, as reliable as a spam email promising free iPhones. Ask anyone about her acting range, though, and you'll get a blank stare, a throat clear, and a mumbled, she's got nice hair? Correct, but irrelevant. It's like praising a toaster for being shiny. The real question looms like a B-movie plot twist. Does Megan Fox have any acting range at all? Or is she just a flawless android programmed to scowl prettily while the rest of us pretend it's a performance? Let's begin with the obvious. Megan Fox is best known for Transformers, a 2007 film where she played Michaela Baines, a mechanic who somehow knows how to fix cars despite never appearing to own a wrench. Her role was simple: look good next to Shia LaBeouf, run from explosions, and occasionally deliver a line like, "I'm not going anywhere," with the urgency of someone realizing they forgot to tip the barista. It's not a performance that demands range, it demands cheekbones. And Fox has those in spades. Her face is a geometric marvel, a symmetry so perfect it could be used to calibrate scientific instruments. But acting? That's trickier to pin down. In Transformers, she's angry, then she's determined, then she's sweaty, all while maintaining the same expression. It's less a range and more a single note played on a very expensive violin. To be fair, Transformers isn't exactly Chekhov. It's a movie about giant robots smashing each other while humans yell in the foreground. Subtlety isn't on the call sheet. But even within those narrow confines, Fox delivers her lines with a consistency that borders on performance art. She's mad? Her eyebrows tilt slightly. She's scared? Her eyebrows tilt slightly more. She's in love? The eyebrows stay put, but her lips part just enough to remind you she's alive. It's not a lack of effort. It's a deliberate choice to let her face do the talking. And her face says, "I am Megan Fox, this is enough." Then there's Transformers, Revenge of the Fallen, the sequel where she somehow gets even less to do. She's still Michaela, still dating Shia LaBeouf's Sam Witwicky, still running from explosions. But this time she's also tasked with leaning over a motorcycle in slow motion, a scene so gratuitous it feels like Michael Bay personally apologized to her paycheck. Her acting here is unchanged, steely resolve, a hint of sass, and that same expression, like she's just smelled something unpleasant but is too polite to mention it. If you spliced her scenes from the first film into the second, no one would notice. She's a walking green screen, a blank canvas onto which audiences project whatever they want. Lust, mostly. But also, occasionally, mild curiosity about whether she's enjoying herself. Let's pivot to Jennifer's Body, the 2009 horror comedy that's since become a cult classic. Here, Fox plays Jennifer Check, a cheerleader turned succubus who eats boys and smirks about it. On paper, this sounds like a chance to stretch. She's funny, she's evil, she's seductive. Surely this requires some emotional acrobatics. And yet Fox approaches it with the same dead-eyed precision. Her Jennifer is sexy when she's human, sexy when she's possessed, sexy when she's covered in blood. The transformation is less about acting and more about wardrobe changes. She glides through the film like a runway model who accidentally wandered onto a slasher set, delivering lines like, "I'm a god," with the conviction of someone reading a grocery list. It's not bad, it's just Megan Fox. The same Megan Fox who stared down Optimus Prime and lived to tell the tale. Critics at the time were harsh. Some said she was wooden, others said she was miscast. But I'd argue she's perfectly cast, not because she's a great actress, but because Jennifer's Body doesn't need her to be. It needs her to be a vessel, a gorgeous shell for Diablo Cody's witty dialogue and Karen Kusama's direction. Fox doesn't act so much as she exists, and her unchanging demeanor becomes the joke. When she's eating a classmate, she's still Megan Fox, aloof, unimpressed, faintly annoyed. It's as if she's thinking, I could be on a beach right now, but instead I'm chewing on this guy's arm. Range would ruin it. Imagine Meryl Streep in that role, weeping over her demonic urges. It'd be a disaster. Now, consider Jonah Hex, the 2010 comic book flop where she plays Lila, a prostitute with a heart of gold. This is a film so bad it's almost performance art. An 81-minute fever dream starring Josh Brolin and a scarred face that looks like it was designed by a drunk tattoo artist. Fox's job here is to look alluring in a corset and occasionally shoot a gun. She does both, with the same expression she's been using since 2007. Her character loves Jonah Hex, fears for his life, and gets kidnapped, all without a single tear or smile. She's a stoic in a saloon, a woman who conveys emotion by standing still and letting the camera zoom in. It's not that she can't act, it's that she's chosen not to. Why bother when your face is already doing overtime? By this point, a pattern emerges. Megan Fox doesn't emote. She poses. She's a living statue, a Renaissance painting that talks. Directors don't cast her for depth, they cast her for presence. She's the human equivalent of a sports car in a showroom. You don't need it to sing opera, you just need it to gleam. And gleam she does. In This Is 40, she's a boutique employee who's secretly stealing money, a role so small it barely registers. Yet she steals every scene by doing nothing at all. She stands there, smirking faintly, while Paul Rudd and Leslie Mann bicker around her. Her lack of range becomes a gag. She's too cool to care, too beautiful to try. It's almost avant-garde. Let's not forget Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, where she plays April O'Neil, the plucky reporter who befriends CGI reptiles. This is 2009, years into her career, and you'd think she'd have picked up a trick or two. Nope! She's still Megan Fox, still delivering lines like, "I saw a Foot Clan attack," with the enthusiasm of someone ordering a salad. She's curious, she's brave, she's in peril. Same face, different lighting. The turtles emote more than she does, and they're animated. But again, it works. The movie's a cartoon anyway, she's just the live-action garnish. So, does Megan Fox have no acting range? The evidence suggests yes. Or rather, her range is a single note, played flawlessly across a dozen films. She's angry in the same way she's sad, happy in the same way she's scared. Her face is a Swiss Army knife with one blade, stunning indifference. But here's the twist. Maybe that's the point. Maybe Megan Fox isn't an actress in the traditional sense. She's a brand, a vibe, a cultural artifact. She's not Meryl Streep, nor does she want to be. Streep cries on cue. Fox stares into the void and lets us fill it. One's a chameleon, the other's a mirror. Both get the job done. To test this theory, imagine her in a role that demands range. Picture Megan Fox as Lady Macbeth, wringing her hands and wailing, "Out, damn Spot!" She'd probably just glare at the blood, tilt her head, and say it like she's telling a waiter her soup's cold. Or as Rose in Titanic, sobbing as Jack freezes to death. She'd give Leonardo DiCaprio that same flat look, maybe mutter, "You're fine," and paddle away. It's not that she couldn't do it, it's that she wouldn't. Her brand is consistency. She's the anti-method actor, the woman who refuses to break character because her character is herself. This isn't a criticism, it's an observation. Megan Fox has built a career on being Megan Fox, and that's no small feat. Lesser talents would have faded after Transformers, but she's endured through flops, scandals, and a brief exile from Hollywood. She's back now, in films like Till Death and Big Gold Brick, still doing what she does best, looking incredible while barely moving her face. Critics might call it a lack of range. I call it dedication. She's the Andy Kaufman of not acting, a genius of inertia. In conclusion, Megan Fox has no acting range because she doesn't need it. She's a sculpture that speaks, a billboard that blinks. Her performances are a Rorschach test. You see what you want to see. Is she brilliant? Is she terrible? Is she secretly laughing at us all? Probably. But she'll never tell us. Her face won't let her. And that's the joke. Megan Fox, the queen of doing less, and somehow always enough.